Hello, everyone. Thank you, all the attendees, for joining us today. I hope all the attendees had a great time networking with your peers in our exhibition tables. However, the platform will be open till 1:30 today, so you can start networking. A very good morning to all of you. I'm Snehil, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group to our webinar on purchasing inverters in 2022. What should be your purchase contract? So, before today's proceeding, I take this opportunity to thank and welcome our sponsor for this event, SunGrow. Thank you, SunGrow, for extending the support for this event. Before we proceed ahead, team, kindly play our sponsor videos. Team, can we have the video, please? Team, can we have the video, please? Thank you for playing the video. Let me quickly take you to an overview of today's webinar. This webinar will offer an in-depth overview of what elements are a vital part of a purchase agreement, from adequate quality requirements to emerging supply chain requirements, and what accreditation and inspection you should look to ensure high quality inverter manufacturing and timely delivery. The event will bring together key decision makers, project developers, OEMs, EPC contractors, equipment manufacturers, industry experts, financial institutions, and project advisors. And we'll have excellent interactive session Q&As and leading keynote presentation. So now it's time to begin with our much awaited panel discussion on the purchasing inverters in 2022. What should be in your purchase contract? So it's time to begin, and to discuss with, we have in this panel with us Mr. Hiten Parekh, Solar Square, Mr. C. Chaudhary, AMP Energy India, Mr. Nataraja MS Technical Sungrow, Mr. Sudhin Pathak, Head Engineering Hero Future Energies, Mr. Sarvesh Kumar, Azure Power. So, Mr. C. Chaudhary will lead this discussion. Now, I welcome all our panelists on the screen and requesting Chaudhary sir to lead the discussion. Chaudhary sir, are you able to hear us?
I think Hiten is a moderator, right? So,
Sir, he is facing some technical problem, so I'll request you to please moderate the session.
Okay, but I'm traveling. I will try my best. Okay, fine. So I think thank you everyone for joining this panel, and I think we have waited 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes, which is not good for anyone because everybody is busy in their work, right? I'm also traveling. So anyway, without waiting some things, I just wanted to move ahead. So the today's session is a purchasing inverters, right? So I think all our experts joined here and they can give their view on about of the how the market has behaved past 10 years in the inverter segment, and what is the challenges we are facing, and what is the other term and condition which is required after the GST has been duty has been implemented over the inverter also, and how inverter is going to play the role over few period of the time, because this is heart of the any of the plant. So I would request Mr. Sudhir Pathak to just give his view about inverter purchasing and how you doing in his organization.
Okay,
Mr.
thanks.
Sudhir.
Yeah, thanks, Audrey. Yeah, so if I try to give my opinion, so I think I will try to provide two small views on the inverter as far as that is concerned. So I will try to basket inverters into broadly two parts. One is central, another is string. So the fundamental issue as of now, what we face is the obsolescence, and especially as far as central inverter is concerned, because recently we faced the problem. I think 3 4 months back, where one of the central inverters failed, and we wanted the replacement. But actually, what happened? We almost struggled for almost 3 months because inverter of that size, of that capacity, that voltage, that fuse rating, that footprint was not available. So we lost almost 3 months of generation on account of that. So I think that is the most fundamental thing, that how to take care of obsolescence, because we know that technology is moving as fast as possible. I remember 10 years back, the size of the central inverter was 250 kilowatt. Now it's the size of the string inverter, and the size of the string central inverter has gone up to even 5 or beyond megawatt. So the fundamental problem, once we go for the purchase contract, is that how we can ensure the spares, warranty, and also to ensure that the service what we keep on getting on these inverters, that is what we have as a continuance. So in my opinion, the lookout should be first of all to see to the inverters which are the or OEMs which have a long lineage, or those who have a good R&D backup. Number one. Number two, uh, they have a good financial base because they will be sustainable. Number three, they have a good service network, so that their turnaround time and their spares availability, their stocks wherever they keep, that is quick. So these are the three aspects which is in fact applicable to both. And third, once we are choosing, for example, central inverter, then we should know that for the similar rating, similar footprint, similar kind of requirement, there are several more. So that in case the one from whom we are purchasing that goes bankrupt or that company closes down, we at least have some kind of backup, or some other similar product. Regarding the string inverter, uh, from the technical perspective, what I perceive that we should insist and all means evaluate or prefer those inverters who are not copy paste of the older ones or the earlier generations or some similar competition. Second thing, anybody like since we know that string inverter comes at a premium as compared to the central, so the string inverters, they have their huge inherent advantage. First of all, they are close to the strings. So the string inverters which are providing a complete bouquet solution. When I say bouquet solution, that is first of all its anti-PID feature. Second is its AI ML capabilities. So that we can at least access each and every string or even to the module level. So from that perspective, that should be in our purchase contract and also in our evaluation perspective, that what are the AI, ML, or you can say SCADA capabilities of that inverter, how many MPPTs it has, and how much it is scalable, because we know that the module sizes keep on changing, and it can go up to 800 watts, and maybe tomorrow once heterojunction also come into fore, then there will be different current requirements. If you have a good technology backup of that particular OEM, definitely they will be come to your support for future replacements. So these three, four, five things, I think it is very important once we go into a purchase contract and look into this. Summarizing: obsolescence. Number two, a good technological background of that organization. Number three, a great financial backup and its longevity. Number four, similarity with in the competition, so that tomorrow there should be a backup. Number five, about the SCADA and the AI ML capabilities. So I think these broad five things is very important. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhir. I think you have given very good advice to the inverter, all the developer, and in fact the manufacturer also. Definitely, there are two kind of inverter available in the market, central as well as the string inverter, right? And both have the different advantage and disadvantage. Right, in the price point of view and the efficiency point of view also. So definitely people are moving in the string inverter also. So I think the lot of parameter which need to be captured in when we are procuring the inverter. So all the term and conditions should be maintained, including warranty and guarantee also, which is also because people are not offering the extended warranty, and we're taking the extended warranty is not good at this moment where price of the inverter has been dropped significantly. So I'm coming the point into Mr. Natraj because he's also from, I think, Sungrow. So I think it's no better than us. So because you are from the manufacturer side, so I just wanted to can you highlight few more things? One is the technical aspects of the inverter and how the efficiency you are going to improve, and all the reliability parameter is going to be improved, and whatever the warranty and guarantee you are offering for 5 year, why not for 10 year, why not for 15 year, because you are in the manufacturing efficiency, right? And what is the other inverter you are bringing in the market which should be having, better losses, because we are facing higher clipping losses when overloading the module in the higher side. So can you just give us the perspective about of all this aspect to the development?
Yes, yes. So good morning, everyone. So related to technical parameters in the purchase contract, definitely the engineering team, whichever they define, so that has to be there in the purchase contract for sure. And while evaluating, there are two aspects. One is the technical aspect, another one is the commercial aspect as a partner, because the inverters will be purchased. Once you purchase, you should be like a partner with another 25 years. So while selecting these inverters, it is very very important to take care of the points as mentioned Sudhir sir. So one is the strong R&D backup here, because the strong R&D can only give the right product to the customers for a longer duration of 25 years. Now, when it comes to, as pointed out by Sudhir sir, there is a replacement of one central inverter so that they lost 3 months of time to get that replacement done. In that case, we need to, I'm not sure which product they have faced this issue, but as a OEM, I can say that we need to maintain our spares at least 1 or 2 units at any point of time, because the failure rate may not be like 4 or 5 units at a time is going to be failed, but it will happen, one at a time, maybe once in a time, because we cannot expect inverter to be burned within 1 or 2 months, many inverters, it is not going to happen. But whenever there is a failure happen, so at least we need to keep one unit ready, and we need to get that same model even after 5 years or after 10 years, because at the site the civil foundation or a BOS components, everything is going to be fixed. If even if OEM recommends that you can go for a new inverter with a new platform or something like that, it is practically is not possible. But OEM should capable enough to manufacture the old inverter in the old dimension and then supply the inverter to the site with the as supplied 10 years or 15 years before, for which you need to have, again, the company's financial background should be better. Strong R&D point is also need required, and majorly the design. So some OEMs, some suppliers, they will give the OEM to sub vendors, and then they try to manufacture their own inverters in their name, but they don't have their design. But when you have a strong R&D, then they can keep their own design with them, and they can manufacture. Example, Sungrow, we have the biggest R&D center, and then we can keep our even 10 years or 15 years before supplied inverters drawings with us, and then we can able to manufacture. So like that, we need to maintain that one. So that has to be covered in case of contract while finalizing the inverters. And when it comes to why not central and why is only string, or why not string, or why not central? So this is as you will have both advantages and disadvantages in both the cases. uh, in case of yes, so string inverters will, easily you can able to handle, and then nowadays we can see many inverters range is getting updated, but output AC side is going to be 800 volts. It is a fixed AC volts, and in case of central you will not have that flexibility. But here, here also you will have some challenges, because the capacity of the inverter is going to be different. So when capacity is going to be changed, when you are maintaining 1.5 AC/DC ratio, maybe even if you get it any other supplier or any other make, which may not be suitable, because here all string inverters connected to the single LV winding, and then you will have different operating frequencies. So there will be mismatches, there will be resonance effects. So here also we'll have challenges, but still you can able to get something in case of string inverters. But in case of central, as I said, if you selected the right OEM, and on central also you will not face any much challenge, and OEM, O&M cost is definitely will feel better in terms of central inverters. But in case of string inverter, is going to be little bit go high, as per our analysis. But still you will have that advantages in terms of energy generation, because it is being spread across the field. And when it comes to the performance wise, string inverter will be better, because you are going to reduce a lot of losses. Uh, and now in the string inverter technology, nowadays we can see 250 kilowatt as of now, but we are also seeing up to 350 kilowatt inverters are on the field right now. At least from Sungrow, we have on field 350 kilowatt, which will be rated at 50 degree 90, 295 kilowatt or something like that. And different region will have different ratings. But for India, we are going to launch by 17th of Jan, and we will come up with a bigger inverter. And in case of central inverter, also we are coming up with a bigger size, and multiple MPPTs, because nowadays string inverters will have multiple MPPTs, will have more advantages. And string, central also we are trying to bring more MPPTs, and you can go up to single inverter of 8.8 that we can able to decide according to the customer requirement. So you can go by multiples of 1.1 or 4.4. Uh, that details also we're going to come up with. So technology wise, both string inverters are also getting upgraded, and central inverters are also getting upgraded. And in terms of pure efficiencies, we can see both inverters are having a same level of performance in terms of energy generation. But of course, in string inverter, because of the reduced losses, you will have little bit higher generation. But central, when it is a flat ground, definitely we could see almost same as a string inverter efficiencies, and then the energy generation. And apart from that, related to extendable warranties, so why standard is given for 5, and why not has been 10 or 15 or 25? Uh, Obviously, we'll have that. Nowadays, we can see prices are very, varying very lot, and then one side the raw material prices are also getting high, and another side the low due to low tariff, the prices of the inverters are also going down, as the customers are also negotiating much, and then it is going very, very low. But why not 10 years? But definitely there will be some add-on cost. So we can able to offer with 10 years and 15 years and 25 years extendable warranty with additional cost. If anybody is offering, let's say, 10 years free, and then definitely there will be a cost, and there will be an add-on cost up to 10 years, and then we also can do that. So these are all about our inverters, and then the purchase contracts, what is needs to be covered. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think Natraj, I think you are from the manufacturer domain, so you know better all this technical parameter. Okay, that's fine. So he has given the lot of technical benefit over the string and versus the central inverter, and how the inverter is going to be changed over the period of the time. That is also elaborated, and because Sungrow, I think the having the biggest capacity in India and delivering lot of capacity in India for the developer. But now, just I wanted to give highlight, and then I will come to the other speaker. Most of the speaker is not available today. Only Nataraj and Mr. Sudhir is there, and I am here. Right, so all the I think a speaker is not available today. So let me just give you my part also about the inverter. So definitely inverter has been a changes in past 10 years. There are a lot of changes in happen in the inverter side, including your technical as well as the commercial parameter and the efficiency also, right. So when 2010 the inverter was very costly, around 60 17 lakh would be there. Now it is a, I think more than one tenth of the cost has been reduced from 2010 to now. The efficiency wise also the people are offering the efficiency is around 99%, no more than 99%, even in the string and central inverter also. Compatibility people are changing very frequently because the module is going to be a module is changing every 6 months or 1 year a timeline. So the compatibility of the inverter should be changed accordingly also. So a string inverter also the people have moved into in the very big stage, starting from like the kilowatt. Now it is people are talking about 200 kilowatt or 250 kilowatt or 300 kilowatt of the inverter they have also launched in the market. That is very beneficial when you going to use in the bigger plant segment. Even the warranty be required only for 5 10 year warranty. Extended warranty is not required because every year there is a slight decrease in the prices. So better you have to take the replacement over 12 year 15 year period of the time rather than going for the extended warranty, right. The MPPT range has been also changed, and so that the losses could be minimized from the DC side, DC side, so you can get the higher generation, right. So some people are coming into the different way. So I'm just going to the Sudhir. What we can improve in the IGBT, because in inverter there are a lot of failure is happening most of the time. Okay, the fuse failure is happen that can be sustained, but some of the heart of the inverter like IGBT has been failed. It is a very difficult to manage because your plant would go got shut down for few days, and there is a maximum losses, generation losses will be incurred to the developer. So what are you suggesting in for the IGBT, and how IGBT going to be more robust in the near future for the central inverter? Even a sting inverter is fine because that is a kilowatt only, so at least you can replace immediately. For central inverter it is taking time, right. So what is your view on this? And the second one also, in the rooftop segment people are talking direct connection about of the battery system. So what you are thinking about of the inverter is directly connected, going to be connect through the lithium ion battery or any of the battery. So certainly the controller and other things should be minimized. Can you just
Yeah,
brief about of these two things from the
yeah, Chaudhary ji. Yeah, Chaudhary ji. So regarding the first question about IGBT, so first of all, the IGBT by its alone does not fail, and it needs to be looked upon as a complete system design of that particular inverter. So whether it is its snubber circuit design or the design of the filters, because IGBT is making huge quantum of chopping every microsecond or milliseconds, which is leading to lot of di by dt. and with huge di by dt, there are a lot many harmonics which are being generated that incurs losses and also surges. So for mitigation of different harmonics, there is a filter design which Nataraja will be able to explain in much more detail. And also there are SPDs which are being connected on DC and AC side. Although that is not only, that is basically for transmitting surges towards DC and AC side, but it is also from the IGBT design perspective. Point number three is about the heatsink design, because now as we can see that that now several OEMs, what they are just out of competition, whatever design margins they had. Okay, suppose they had an inverter of 3 megawatt, for example. They have a design margin of suppose 10% or 12%. So out of competition they will eat that margin, and just for the sake of reduction of price, they will enhance it to, now they will simply launch, now my same inverter, same family is now 3.125 or 3.5. So so that is the competition which is leading it to all these kind of issues. Coming to second thing about the technology perspective, where there is like now it is, everything is three level topology. Even five level topology is also in discussion, which may be reducing the switching losses, because as we reduce the switching losses, there will be reduction in harmonics as well as the heat generation, which as a byproduct for us will lead to better efficiency. But as an OEM, it will help them in improving the heatsink design, and also and also the filter design, which will ultimately increase the life of the product. Number three, now silicon carbide is, or SiC, what we name as, that is the new kid on the block, which is now replacing the older regime of SiO2 based. So wherein silicon carbide is touted to be having lower switching losses. So that's why the power density of the inverters is getting improved. We are getting higher megawatt, higher kilowatt capacity in a lower, you can say, volume of the inverter. So as I think about it regarding question number one, so these are three, four things. So that's why I told in the beginning that whichever OEM has a good R&D backup, where they really test it, subject that to detailed IC testing, even the extended IC testing, and then they launch it in the market, and do not shy away in saying that I will not eat my safety margin or design margins. So the premium customers, they will always be happy to pay slightly higher price for getting a good product. This is regarding question number one. Regarding question number two about storage, so yeah, there is a lot of discussion, because now as the capacity of renewable is increasing in the grid, so automatically intermittency is not going to play much role. Every customer is now aware that they need a stable input. And also with the new kind of waiver which has come from ISTS, so lot of C&I segment has sprung up into action, where they want uh, a steady state output, not the intermittent one, because they are running such crucial process plants in their premises. So from these perspectives, storage and also the green hydrogen has come into, you can say, huge traction. The complete industry is now leaning and moving towards that. From that perspective, I think a new regime of inverters are coming into fore, wherein two or three things. Typically in storage, we have two things: DC coupled and AC coupled. AC coupled, a simple inverter where you have a separate PCS in the storage, which will be coupled to the AC bus, which is something like which anybody does, even today. The one question which you asked about how then can inverter directly connect, so that is fundamentally you can say DC coupling, wherein I know that there are several inverters where are being now designed and also in the market, where they have a separate port for DC coupling directly to the storage. So where you get a constant DC output, they have an intermediate stage from where you can couple it to the storage system. So I foresee that this market is going to grow exponentially. If it is rooftop, definitely string inverters, which are, or you can say DC to DC converters, will be there, on which there will be a storage, and then there will be a common EMS system, which will be able to take uh, the prospective clipping power to the storage system and lead to the better cost efficiency for the end user. Second thing, for the large scale, even in the central ones, you will have, in place of SMB, you will have DC to DC converters where you will have a constant DC output, which will be going to connect to a dumb inverter on which you can tap the storage. So yeah, so definitely as we move ahead, there is going to be, and further, if I go to like kind of green hydrogen part, so there also the electrolyzer needs DC input. Okay, so wherein nowadays everybody is putting AC input to it, and leading to an additional losses. So that will also be a great push for DC to DC conversion rather than DC to AC conversion. So I think these 3 4 points are very important as we move ahead, and we will foresee, and we will see in next couple of years huge market for this. Yeah, that's a ticket for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sudhirji. I think we have given the brief idea about of the how string inverter and central inverter is going to play the major role, and I also talked about of the IGBT robustness, and even in the storage system how DC and AC coupling is going to be working in the near future. Definitely, currently people are battery and inverter people have the DC coupler only, and the AC coupler I think might will come, but most of the cases some application would be for the DC coupler is required. Some of the cases AC coupler is required. So I'm going to again for with the Natraj because we have only two speakers, so I don't have more speakers. I have to go. So now tell me one, because there are two questions I have from you. One is the, because frequently you're changing the rating of the inverter and the capacity parameter and other. How certification would be you are getting third party certification? Is you easily you are getting NABL lab, number one. Number two, in the battery storage also, because Sungrow have both in the battery as well as the inverter, and there is a design synergy in both the cases. So can you give me with the more idea about of the battery storage, how it is synergized with the inverter also? And third one, how you are going to improve the efficiency in the inverter? So three questions from my side, as you are a manufacturer for both battery as well as the inverter side.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing, when we are launching a new inverter, and definitely we have to go to the third-party laboratories which are accredited by ILAC or NABL or CNAs. Since we are from China, and definitely we'll go for ILAC-approved international laboratories. Whenever we launch new inverter model, it is a hard work from the R&D team for the last 2 years. Without they will test, they cannot launch the new inverter model. As I said, when you have a strong R&D center, the R&D center will always think at least 3 to 4 years ahead of the market which is running right now. And if we are launching any new product this year, that means we already started this work at least 2 years before. And then all the rigorous tests, whatever is mentioned in the IEC requirements, apart from that, there will be much more stringent tests which will be conducted by R&D, and that those tests has to be passed, and then it will go to the laboratories. Definitely, when it goes to the laboratories, as a OEM, it will be very easy for us to pass those criteria because we will do much more stringent tests in our laboratory. That is where the R&D is going to think ahead, and then they will develop a product. And related to the technology, as Sudhir sir said, now silicon carbide on the foot, and then now another one, silicon GaN is also there. As a Sungrow, we already developed the prototypes with these technologies and ready with us, and we are not yet launched because the market has to merge, and the raw material price for those silicon carbides or GaN should come down. As of now, the IGBTs are leading the prices. So we are waiting for that. And we also have another strategy that wherever we purchase in IGBTs, example Infineon or Onsemi or whatever it is, we will have the separate joint venture with them to develop a new product and dedicated IGBTs to us, and they will have their future plans and then future technology trends. According to that, they will develop new uh, power conversion equipments. Accordingly, we will go for a design and then we will upgrade and then launch the new products. That is where the R&D center is going to play a vital role in case of switching to the new technologies. And then when it comes to DC coupling storage and then AC coupling storage, as of now, we can see that uh, most of the BSS projects are AC coupled, which what we are seeing right now, for so that you can able to easily synchronize with the grid. You no need of any special technology or logic controls to synchronize with the grid. You can use a normal string, normal PV inverter plus PCS. Normally, it's a dual converter. You can synchronize with the AC system. But here you can't able to reduce the clipping losses because in PV inverters you are going to do 1.5 or 1.6 right now. The AC DC ratio is going on. But if you really want to reduce these clipping losses, then the existing inverters already we have supplied in India, those inverters will have a capability to connect DC converter at the DC side, which is before going to the AC conversion circuit. And then you can charge those batteries, and then you can able to discharge these batteries maybe in the late evening or maybe in the second half of the day, wherever the radiation goes low, so that you can able to reduce DC clipping losses. Basically, you will have one dedicated breaker or a bus bar where you can able to tap your DC to DC and the battery connections. Example, like if I take 3.125 inverter, right now whatever we are selling is about example through 2 MPPT version. This MPPT version, 2 MPPT version, will also have interface for the BSS. Even a 5 megawatt inverter also will have this BSS interface. In this condition, only little more amount has to be spent by the developers because there will be some hardware needs to be added, example bus bar and one maybe breaker as a part of the inverter for a BSS. Maybe you no need to install the BSS right now. Maybe let's say even after 3 years or 5 years down the line, if you want to add BSS, you can easily terminate those BSS connections and install the container just next to the inverter station, and then you can charge the batteries and you can reduce the clipping losses, which will be the best way to reduce clipping losses. Plus, you can able to get the stable output because when you have BSS in place with the PV, you can also go for smoothing, which will be helpful for the grid operations, and it will also reduce a lot of harmonics which are injected to the grid. But in case of AC coupling, definitely you will not have this advantage. But AC coupling will have different types of advantages because uh, DC coupling you can able to do only energy shifting or a smoothing. That's all. You can't able to do any more applications. But when it comes to AC coupling, you will have energy shifting, voltage regulation, frequency regulation, everything you can able to do that. But in the DC coupling, here you can able to go up to maximum maybe let's say 0.5C batteries, not more than that. But in case of AC coupling, you can go up to 0.2C batteries, not 0.2, just 2C batteries, which are supporting frequency regulation, where you can able to dispatch the energy in seconds, not in minutes, even in seconds you can able to dispatch, so that you can able to maintain the grid stability. So that is the advantages of this BSS and then the DC coupling. Maybe we can one or two samples are already supplied to India because one or two customers wanted to test those features. We already supplied, but not yet been commissioned. But definitely, this will be the best solution to reduce the clipping losses. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Nataraj. I think you've given a very good idea of the DC and SC coupling because most of the people generally they got confused. So I think you today have clarified. So I think people are going for 4C. Some of the customers they have requested not only 2C, gone for 4C also. for the special design. So do you have? I mean, what about the sun grow? They are going ahead for the that much of a stage, or only up to the 2C age limited? What is your perspective? Just I wanted to this, and we'll take some question from the panelist if they have. Otherwise, we'll end the session.
Yeah, so 2C, what I have mentioned is according to the LFP technologies. When it
Correct.
goes to NCM technologies, definitely we have 3C batteries as well, which are sufficient to meet the requirements of frequency regulation, which is highest priority requirement. But 4C, we have not tested, but we can able to do the design because 4C applications has not yet been come to us, but 3C, at least up to 3C we have done. Even we have done with the super capacitors instead of 2C, 3C or 4C batteries. We have used the super capacitors for one of the frequency regulation in 220 kV substation.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Mr. Natraj. While giving your technical expert, I know definitely you are very, very technically sound in this segment. So, Twinkle or Snail, I think we have done this panel because 30 minutes we have already delayed. So now it's more than 1 hour. So, if any question from the panelist, you can take the question from the panel. Audience side, and if they have any question from the audience side, other fine. Otherwise, we'll close this session.
So yes, we have few questions. I'll show them on stage.
Which produce more harmonics in the grid 1.1 or 10? Okay. So I will take this question.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It is 1 megawatt inverter or 100 kilowatt inverters. Harmonics will be remains the same. It's all about the impedances which we are going to manage. But definitely, the inverter rating is doesn't matter for the harmonics injection. It's purely depends on if it is a type tested according to IEC, uh, it will meet the requirements of the grid.
Yeah. So I fully agree, right? So harmonic is not depend upon the megawatt or capacity, right? It is a completely if you are tested and protected everything, then it will not come into the picture at all. Yeah. Any other questions, Snails? Sorry.
So we have one more question in the chat box. If you can see from Atul Pachori sir. So he has asked question from Natras sir.
Yeah. What is the question? Sorry.
So it is in case BESS is added to inverter, then who will be controlling the complete system? Is inverter having any control mechanism to make the power smooth?
Okay, so I will take this question. So this is in case of BESS is added to one inverter, then who will be controlling the complete system? Is inverter having control mechanism to make the power smooth? Okay, when you are installing the BESS to one inverter, then there is a requirement of EMS, small EMS, which will be you can able to program it as a part of SCADA, or if you want to part of the inverter, you can do that because it's only energy shifting mechanism it will do. So there is no need of any additional requirement. Just add one small EMS program into that.
Yes. Any other questions, Snail?
No, sir, we are done for the.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Natraj. Thank you, Sudhir. Actually, that was the great session today. Thank you,
Thank you.
Snail, for giving opportunity to join this session.
Thank you very much to our esteemed panelists for this wonderful session. And very special thank to Mr. Chaudhary, sir, to superbly managing the session. As always, you were impressively well prepared and extremely professional. Thank you everyone for extending your time and support for the event. We promise you to come back with many more exciting topics very soon. The floor is now open for networking. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.